So now I'll just be showing you how to animate sliders in Unity. So this we'll be doing now is just a health bar in the overlay canvas. If you want to do this for, let's say, above enemies or a player, you would just do it inside a world canvas. The code will be the same. But first I'm just going to show how to make a slider. My setup now, I've just got a canvas with a button, which we're going to use to shake. So I'm going to go UI, slider, and we're going to, let's call it HP slider. I'm going to make it bigger. And sliders in Unity for some reason start like this and they're fairly ugly. So just gonna clean it up. First, we're gonna remove handle slide area, go into slider, untick interactable. Then fill area, you wanna set these all to 0. If it'll let you, set this to 0. Background. Slider here, okay, that looks fine. We're just gonna make our background a bit of a faded white. Then we're going to make our fill, remove these, red, and remove these images. So it's just square, and now our slider should fill up like this, and that looks straightforward. So I'm gonna put this here. I'll make it a bit smaller. So now we're gonna make our script. So I'm going to make I have a guy here, Bob. I'm going to make 2 scripts now. One just for an example of player health, so very straightforward, then one for the slider. So I'll just call that player health. I'll call this health slider. And this isn't really a tutorial about health. This is just going to be an example. So we're going to have it so the player, you control the slider attributes to your health script. So in your own game, this will be all your own code. So I'm just going to have a private int of health equals 100 and then a public void of take damage and pass an int and then do health minus equal damage. So we've got this set up like this, and now we're going to have it so our button, we're going to reference our slider script in here, and when our player takes damage, when we update the health, we're also going to update the slider so it displays the same thing. We're going to go to Bob, and I'm going to drag both the scripts in here. So now in our health slider, we're going to have a public slider, and I'll call this health slider. And you'll need to import Unity UI, which can be done like this, up here at the top using unity.ui. And then now for our animation, similar to the button, we want a private constant float, call it animation time or duration, and make this 0.8f. And then we want private constant ease, animation ease, and call it ease dot out cubic. There we go, fix that. And now these are going to go in our slide. So now we're going to do the actual animation code for updating the UI. So we want to do a public void update slider value, and we'll call it int, or int new value. You can make it a float if you're using floats, but a decimal point. And we're going to do tween dot UI slider value, then pass through the health slider, pass through our end value, and pass through the duration like this, and pass through our ease and semicolon. So what this is doing is it's getting our health slider here, and then here is just your value of what you want it to be now, and it's going to animate from the current value to the value input here over the duration we've done, and the animation type is here, which again you can experiment with different ones if you want. So then above that, just to explain, type 3 slashes and you'll get this, and this is a comment. So we'll just call it updates the value of the health slider. And here was new value of slider. So it's good to comment, because then when we access this in another code, we can just hover over it like this. And you can see here, it gives us the text explaining what the function does. And there you go. So now we want to do it so we can set the values of the slider. So set slider values. And we're going to do an int min value, int max value, and an int start value. And in here, we're going to do health slider, like it says up there, equals min value, health slider dot max value equals max value, and health slider dot value equals start value. So now here we have, this is going to be in our script. So what it's going to be, so let's say we're doing it for our player health, the min will be 0, we're going to make our max 100, and we want it to start at 100. So we'll pass through this. So again, you want to comment it, and sets the initial values for the slider. And this will also be useful for if you're using like an XP or a rank up system, or if you want to upgrade your health. To update the slider, you just set this again with your new values. So we'll just do here, the min value, the maximum value, and the start value. All right. And if this is new to you, this kind of commenting, you should get used to it and do it in games, because it's very helpful, especially if you forget what your stuff does. So now we're going to go into here, and we're going to do private health slider, and then we're just going to do private void awake health slider equals get component health slider. And this is just so we have it referenced. If you want to, if you have it set up differently, you can just make it public and assign an inspector. But I'm going to have this script in the same object as the health script. So then we can just get it easily. So now we're going to do here is on private void start, we're going to set our values. So we're going to say health slider dot set slider values, and we'll say 0 health. So that's setting up this, and then when we take damage here, we're going to do health slider dot update slider value. And what are we updating it to? We're updating it to our health. So now you can see, because we've set it up like this in our initial slider script, updating it is super simple. So now we have this done. We're going to go into Unity. I'm going to just go to my button here. So we're going to reference our slider in our script, like there. Then I'm just going to go to my button and press plus, just for the sake of testing. Then I'm going to drag in Bob. I'm going to go to Bob's player health. I'm going to take damage, and I'm going to take damage, let's just say 20. So now when we press play, we're going to see here, and you can see here now, every time I press shake, our slider is taking damage. So there you go. That's the basics of slider. Now I'm going to do some more slightly advanced animations that you can do. Now that this is done, we're going to add a punch and a shake. So a punch is like every time I update this, it punches up, and a shake is like the slider will shake to give more feel to it when you're taking damage. So what we can do for that is we want to create Prime Tween has a shake settings. So first we want to do private read only if you only want one constant shake settings, and I'll just call this slider shake equals new, and then in here new vector 3. And now how this will work is the vector 3 is the percentage you want it to grow by. So we're going to do 0.1f, And we only need to do 2 because it's a 2D animation. But if you want to be safe, you can do 0.1f again. Now we're going to do the duration of the shake. So let's say I make it 0.8f, and the frequency, so how many times we want it to shake within this. Now these you can adjust however you want. It'll be up to you. So then what we can do, I think, is tween dot shake scale, and what we want to do is health slider dot transform, and then what we want to do is slider shake. So this is now going to, each time we punch this, it should also shake our slider. So now there you can see we've taken damage and it's going to shake a bit, so it's a bit strong there. So what you would want to do is just reduce the frequency, and you can reduce the amount. So let's say I make this 0.5. So now instead of growing by 10%, we're only growing by 5%, and the effect will be reduced. So then what you want to do is something you can do is, so I'll quickly just make a function of, let's say we want to punch it. So we'll do like shake strength. And what we can do here quickly try is like, the more damage you take, the stronger the shake is. So for that, we want to just do a basic constructor here for our shake settings, and we're going to do this, and we're going to call it create shake, and we're going to pass through a float of strength. We're going to pass through a float of duration and a float of frequency. And now we're going to do return new shake settings, then do vector new vector 3, and we're just going to put in strength 3 times here. Strength, and then duration and frequency. So now we can easily create, instead of typing in this, we can just pass through this function. So let's say our strength, we want to take in an int. We'll say, we'll do a slider. No. What am I doing? We want to transform target, and we'll do let's say a float or an int of damage. And then in here, we can just do a switch of damage. So let's say you take greater than 80 damage. We'll do VAR shake equals new shake. And now in here, case 80, if the damage is greater than 80, you can do shake equals create shake, and we can do like, it grows by, because that's most of your health. Let's say that health is 100, you can do 0.2 F, you can do 1F, and you can do, maybe it shakes 5 times. And there you go. And then pretty much the same thing. Then I'll just say case it's greater than 40. We'll do shake equals create shake 0.1 F. We'll do like 0.7 F, and we'll do 3F and break. And then we can just do default for everything else. You can just do like shake equals create shake 0.05 F, 0.5 F2. And now this is just like a simple example. You can do whatever you want with these to make it how you want. And then we're just Private void, shake strength. What am I doing here? And then you can do shake. Let's call it shake. This is just a tutorial. You can name it whatever you want. The naming's not the best here. And then let's say we can just do tween dot shake scale, and we'll just do target and damage. No, not that. Our shake. There we go. So yeah, so now here, instead of doing shake scale, if we want to modify it so it's different damage, you can do like shake slider strength will pass through our slider, which is health slider dot transform, and let's just say new value. We can do health slider dot we'll do it before here so we can check our old value. This is not the best. We'll just do like health slider dot value minus new value. So that makes sense. No, it won't. I'll just put new value in here. So now what it'll do is you pass your number. Of course, you do it a bit more complex to suit your damage and your script. But that's just a short example of being able to create multiple variations. So now I'm just going to go in here. And now we're going to shake here. So press shake and now it grows. Now if I make it bigger, maybe if I make it 60, and it's going to shake a bit more. But yeah, there you go. That is some nice simple animated UI shaking. If you have any questions, let me know. There's more that can be done with sliders. I might do another video. So let's say you're animating your slider to go up in experience. If you hit a point where you level up, but there's more, you can do it so it continues the animation into the next level. So that's something we can do. But yeah, this is just a simple slider with shaking, and it just show you can do, if I do this, you can also just do I'll quickly show you tween dot punch scale health slider. This is very similar to shake, but shaking is like shaking. Punch is where it grows up and it shrinks. So what did I call my setting? I called it slider shake. So this is where it kind of jumps up and down instead of just shaking. So let's say you have health and you wanted to pop up while the damage is taken, then go down. Or if you wanted, you could probably even do both of them. So we'll wait for this to reload. So there, now instead of shaking, it's kind of jumping up and shrinking again. Oh yeah, that's it for these basic slider animations. If you have any questions, let me know, and see you in the next video.